Yeah, we're on.
Minutes.
A notice of intent requested by Anton Roberts.
Before that, Bill, I
Approve the minutes from last
move
meeting.
that we approve the minutes from 10/11/2017.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now, where's Mr. Roberts?
He's in Connecticut. He had a cousin passed away, so he was working with their estate. He was gonna try and get here, but he didn't know if he'd make it for the meeting. I can speak on his behalf.
Please do.
Okay, I think at the last meeting,
Is that the latest revision or?
well, this was the one I submitted last time, but
Okay,
Marty
well,
hadn't had a chance to review it yet because I gave it to him like the same day. But I think as we closed the last meeting, she was gonna go out there and take a look at the new lines that were installed, and then we located them, and I showed them on the plan. I think, and you can tell me if I'm right, Marty, I think that she looked at the lines, I think they're all set. So this will be the plan showing the new flag line. It had lines, we held A21, A22 is new, 23 is new, we eliminated A24, A25 is new. Those three flags were put in by Chris Capone, I believe she was okay with those. And then she installed flag A26, which we identified as an NA for Nova Armstrong, and then also A27, which comes off. From that, we established a new set of buffer lines. I've got the 25-foot no-touch line with the silk fence, I've got the 50-foot no structure line, the house is outside of the structure, then I've got the 100-foot buffer line. And the septic system, I adjusted that so that that is also out of the 100-foot buffer. This little triangle you see on this plan, it was more of a planning board. I was supposed to have a planning board meeting this evening, but I guess it got canceled. But this little triangle is the Form A plan, and what I had to do was, because this line got moved, I had to shift the property line between lot 2 and lot 3, so that I would get more upland area, because I need 30,000 square feet minimum of upland area to go along with 35,000 total area for lot to be buildable. So that shows the new proposed line on there. They'll sign the plan eventually for the Form A, and then I can get a copy of that to the board, which will show that new line. That's
Okay.
what's on the plan.
The 100-foot marker from the wetlands will be, for the septic system, will
Correct.
be in place. You will have it in place so that they will not put the septic system.
Correct. We're gonna
Okay.
stake out the field for
Okay.
them. Yeah, and then the reserve area is beyond that. So there's still a little bit of play, so we'll definitely stake it out so it's beyond the 100-foot buffer.
Okay.
We're gonna do the same thing with the house. He wants us to stake out the proposed house too, that way it'll also be out of the 50-foot no-touch zone for the structure.
Yeah. Did you have anything to say?
Yeah, I
You're all
just,
set.
we checked, I went back to the office and I had, Laura and Caitlin just look at the new flags on the plan, and they said those, it represented where they had changed
That
those
was the question last
flags,
meeting.
yeah.
So, I'll make a motion that we close the hearing process and issue an order of conditions.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done with you, I guess, Bob.
Thank you.
Now we will discuss the enforcement order issued to Anton Roberts.
Yeah, and that one, I think you
I
probably,
have a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
Yeah, is the power plant on this, on your agenda for this evening?
It would have been, but they asked for a continuance.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You
I'll-
have the
It
date.
is on the agenda, but they called, they emailed, they weren't prepared to go forward,
Do you have a date?
so they asked for a continuance.
So that'll be the, second Wednesday of November.
Looks like the eighth.
The eighth, November eighth,
7:30?
7:30. That's when the meeting starts. What time they're on will be determined by other items in the agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Okay, let's discuss that law, the enforcement law, Charlie.
Is anyone else here for the power plant hearing? Okay.
Charlie? Charlie?
The enforcement order on Rodericks.
Oh, you want to report? I was there today. It doesn't look like he's removed all the stuff from lot 4. It's nothing to do with what we just passed.
Yeah, no,
He's taken all the piles of rocks out. He's making a gorgeous wall along Main Street.
I was
Best I've
there,
seen in
it
ages.
is,
Uh,
it is, I agree with
But
you.
it looks to me like there's 7, 8, maybe 10 inches of stuff left right on top of the sedges that were there. I didn't bring a shovel, so I didn't dig around today, but I went right up to my ankle and my boot, and I didn't hit the ground, so.
Now, are you on that, Bob?
No, I've got nothing to do with lot 4,
Okay,
so.
Tony's on it all by himself,
Yeah.
and he's not here,
so you got lot 14,
that's,
lot 14 parcel 4.
uh,
Oh, I'm saying, I'm reading it from here. Okay, so we'll continue that?
yes.
Downwind Realty.
They've asked for a continuance. Their wetland consultant hasn't had an opportunity to really go through Marty's peer review. So they've asked for a continuance to November 8th. And I'll make a motion that we continue the hearing to that date.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We shall do that.
Marty, dealing with that, did you have a map on that property?
Dealing with what, Jim?
No, this one here on Somerset Avenue, because I wanna go in there and take a walk, but I want some kind of a map.
Oh,
No, you don't.
actually, we have I didn't bring the folder with me,
Okay.
but the surveyors provided us an existing conditions plan that shows the traverse lines in relation to the wetland boundaries, so it
Okay.
would help you. And then they actually went in and they cut along the line, so that you can actually get in and look at
I
it.
think,
So I can,
I think they emailed,
they emailed it
I
to me.
do have that.
Yeah.
Okay, forward it to me, and I'll print it out, and
Yeah.
then I'm gonna go down there, because that's, because that back property is, what is it, 5, 6 more vernal pools? And
Yeah, it's, it's not the easiest site to know where you are, so you need to
Well, that's why I haven't
plan
gone
on
in there.
spending some time there, so,
Okay,
yeah. But it's nice, it's just, you're not gonna be able to get in too deep into, there's a lot of very, very dense. But there's a path that kind of traverses the entire site from Somerset all the way across the easement, electrical easement, and into the other parcel, so you can walk that whole thing and kind of scoot off and look at things off of that.
Okay.
Yeah. But, and I think we have actually a sketch showing where those pools are, so I'll look and I'll forward
yeah, I
that
remember
to-
seeing something, but
Yeah.
I think it was taken back.
But you know what's on our report? We attached it to our
Oh,
report.
wait a minute, yeah, okay, this is it here, though,
Okay,
okay.
yeah, but
Alright,
it
so-
doesn't show the boundary on it, you know,
Yeah.
you'll need both of those items.
Okay.
The easiest way to get it is by the right of way.
Probably, yeah, coming down the right of way. Yeah.
I know it's
coming
easy.
in off Somerset
I tried to
now.
drive up from Somerset Avenue, no way.
And even coming
Three
in on
tries,
the
that was
house, the existing house, getting in that way is impossible now. So, actually, an easier way to get in is through the area that you had the enforcement on. You walk in there, you can walk straight ahead and get on the Old Woods Road
Okay.
that will bring you right across. That's probably
He
the
knows
best
the
way.
way in there.
Now, these three parcels, is that what it is? 1, 2, 3?
Yes,
Okay, and nothing's been identified here as far as wetlands or vernal pools?
right, there's stuff down here, well, the boundary is off, I believe, onto this area here. But back here, nothing's been flagged, there's a stream, a river back here and floodplain.
Oh, so this is not really part of their...
It's part of their ANRAD, we comment on it, but there's other resource areas back there. but
Okay,
It would be a lot of work to zoning it.
okay.
Forefront Power.
They asked for a continuance as well. They're,
Nobody
constantly
wants to
changing
deal with
their,
it.
their plan. This is second revision?
At least,
Yeah.
yep.
I make a motion that we continue that hearing to November 8th as well.
Before it's seconded, is there enough money in the 53G if they
There
keep
will be
moving?
when she sends,
Yeah,
all the rest of it.
Okay,
I submitted an invoice tonight, and I emailed Charlie, a second cost estimate. We've done quite a bit of work on it, we're well
Okay.
into the review at this point. We issued a peer review letter on the boundary and some plan.
Now, they altered the notice of intent as well as their
They
plans.
did, they revised the notice of intent, that was sent to us. We have the latest set of plans that were FedExed to us. We got those yesterday. And it came with a revised NOI form that reduced the amount of wetland alteration proposed, but it's still over 5,000 square feet.
How is the new, I forgot what you call it, the DEP's new solar array?
The policy on it.
The policy, yeah.
Yep, that relates mainly to stormwater and how to address stormwater runoff associated with these solar array projects. And it depends on the land type that's being proposed, the solar array
But
is
there
being
were
proposed on.
wetland references in there too, I just glanced
Yeah,
through it.
yeah, they're DEP is recommending not using forested land, for solar arrays. Especially forested lands that are poorly drained, can't support a conventional development because of the soils. So, they're trying to, encourage.
keep wetlands
Yeah.
or bordering.
And they
Wetlands.
also are highly recommending not, the commission's not allowing work within 100 feet of a critical area, which is outstanding resource waters, which are vegetated wetlands adjacent to Zone A waters, which are drinking water supplies. Now, this particular project, that, all the wetlands are outstanding resource waters. So DEP's discouraging the use of certain types of lands for solar projects.
Okay.
Who's the owner of this property? Who's the owner of this property?
The greenhouse.
Okay. Okay, you made a motion?
Yeah, you did.
I'll second it.
Second it, okay.
Made motion, and we needed a second to continue the hearing for Forefront Power.
I just seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
John Prairie.
Brandon Fana for John Prairie. Here with a plan revision a couple of weeks ago for an RDA for a temporary crossing to do some perk tests. Marty had comments, and I spoke with Laura in her office about what changes to the wetland line needed to be made. Here you go. There are also comments about wanting to see what the reference on the existing conditions plan was, who delineated the wetlands, that was me, and how the wetland flags were located and what the accuracy of the survey, which was GPS. Those are all in the notes on the top left-hand corner. Got some comments today about showing setbacks and no touch lines. Let me turn it around for you. I think there's still a little confusion about,
Horton Street.
Yeah,
yeah,
no, so Smith is somewhere.
Smith's over here, right there.
Where's Smith?
Yeah,
Right across from Tamara, Joel Tamara.
Smith's down right here. Alright. So we got a little bit of a sliver of a wetland up the front here, and then we got 500 feet across, and it goes over a stream, which is a perennial stream, but I took 4 days worth of pictures, and I know that doesn't change the bylaw, but I'm trying to change the state level.
Okay.
And there's already an existing path that somebody before must have already gone out there. They plowed their way through there with a machine. But not only that, but there's an existing farm cart path there from before. It looks like they roughly followed that to begin with. It goes
but
in
it hasn't been used in
decades.
decades, so.
Decades.
So it's something that we can't really consider as a path or a.
Well, as an upland. The good thing about it is that it's scrub brush. There's no trees growing in that path. So we wouldn't have to cut down any trees to get a machine back there. So as long as you follow that where the path used to be, it's all about the same level as the wetland.
Tell me why there's no trees growing there, Brenda.
Probably because it's an old path that was so packed down that the trees didn't grow up. You see any path and it's been packed down over the decades, nothing wants to grow on it.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is in the wetland. There is plenty of things like sweet pepper bush growing it, but there's no big trees growing in it. Then you get into the back here. This is an upland area. This is got wetland, surrounded by wetland. Marty and her employees found a potential vernal pool in the upper left-hand corner, which would be northeast corner, and they wanted us to flag that and locate it. So I flagged it. Mount Hope located it, and it's labeled PVP 1 through PVP 13. It's about, at its closest, about 50 feet away from the wetland boundary. So it's embedded 50 feet into the BVW.
Okay, and where's that, up in here?
No,
Over here.
Oh.
right in here. So it's at its closest, it's embedded about 50 feet.
Oh, wait
in.
a minute, then I am confused here. We're talking about this
I moved
cart
on.
path,
Yeah, he moved on from that.
and then, okay, so, where is it that you looking for the perk test?
Anywhere in here.
In here,
Okay,
right, so
okay.
we know we have to stay 100 feet away from the BVW, correct?
Yes,
And now the question is, how many feet do we have to stay away from the vernal pool? I'm a little confused about what the rule is on that, because I know you've got the actual water, and then from the water 100 feet out, even
is the
though
vernal pool.
though it's high and dry all the time, it's still considered part of the vernal pool, and then there's another 100-foot buffer zone off that.
Correct.
Is that also a no septic zone? Or
That
not?
would be. That would be.
I don't care what it is, it just, it
That
is
would-
what it is. I just
The
need to,
resource
Because
area
that would be
down
100
the
feet from the vernal pool.
well, 100 feet from the legal bylaw definition of vernal pool.
Correct.
If you go to anywhere else, the vernal pool is just where the water is. But in Dayton, you go another 100 feet, even though it could go straight up, it's still part of the vernal pool by legal definition, under the bylaw, right?
Well, have you found any of those?
In other towns?
No, here,
Have I found it?
in the indictment, where there's a mountain on the side of a vernal pool.
No, I'm just giving it an
Okay,
example.
all right, so then we don't have to discuss that.
Dayton's fairly flat,
Yes, that's why it's there,
yeah.
So
So,
the bylaw gives the vernal pool
protection.
100 feet
100
beyond the
feet.
water, and then 100 feet beyond that is a no septic zone anymore.
Correct.
It would be buffer zone, yeah.
Right, so that's what, because, Marty, I got your email, and you're talking about 100 feet and then a 25-foot no touch. But I thought it was, like, we're talking about septic systems, so I thought it was 200 feet.
So
but
essentially,
I
but
don't-
even that there, I'm doing it very
Our
approximate.
septic bylaw, the Board of Health bylaw, requires perks to be done 100 feet outside of a wetland, period. A vegetated wetland. Now, in our bylaw, we consider that a resource area, and we give it a 100-foot buffer.
Buffer. Yep.
So, under our bylaw, it's gonna be,
16,
that's a wetland.
20. So essentially, right here is, if I'm doing that right, I'm going from
Scales
here.
1 to
60.
60, right?
So,
Here's
so,
the vernal pool right here now.
well, what's, you just had it right here.
No,
Well, let's
that's
go
just a
from this-
title.
this
Here's
one
the
right here,
vernal
number
pool
5.
buffer right there.
Yeah, number 5.
Okay, so the buffer zone would be about here, roughly here.
60, 120, 180, yeah, around 200.
Yeah, right around here.
Right, so that would be a 200-foot mark.
Yeah,
I just
somewhere
wanna
there.
confirm,
So
That-
you've got all this area.
well,
here.
minus the 100 feet, right?
Yeah,
So I just wanna make sure I got that straight.
we'll keep you honest, we'll keep you honest.
I know, okay. So,
So now,
as far as
this
building
not
is
marked in the
concerned,
field now, right?
it's not marked in the field, and we could put lines showing buffer zone all over this, but that doesn't help you when you're in the field. What is done is you pull tape. You get out there, you go to the wetland line, you pull tape to make sure you're 100 feet or 200 feet away. That's what's, the lines on the paper aren't gonna help the guys on the field when they're doing the perk
Well,
test.
then you'll have to get a 200-foot tape so you can pull it all the way out.
Yeah, that's what I have, and it's amazing that I have found some people, they have elastic tapes that when they stretch them, they.
Well, that's why some of the old school engineers buy the metal tape. You ever seen those?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I own one, 200 foot.
200-foot metal tape and there's no expansion. But I know what you're saying. And even those guys, I'd say, well, you know, what's the temperature, you know, because even the metal expanded.
Not that you can't stretch it a foot, though. It might go an inch or two, but
Not even that, I don't think.
Okay, so what we show here
Okay,
is 100 feet from the vernal pool, and then there's a 25 no-touch.
the
But
100-foot buffer and the 25-foot no-touch are the same. It's already in the 100-foot buffer, so it's really not a problem.
of the wetland, the 125 is within the 100 feet of the BBW. But the 200 feet from the PVP is not, is outside of
That's
that.
true, you're right.
So
The
that,
25-foot no touch
it's
is
just,
not,
it's just for
it's
construction.
just, well, it's
It-
really
it's not-
associated with the vernal pool, but the buffer,
For the wetland
well,
goes
the-
out even further.
but, yeah, the 25-foot for the BVW is still gonna be inside the 25-foot no disturb for the vernal pool. You know, so.
Right, so,
It was more just to let the person know that's doing the perk test that,
yeah. Well, what I'm directing, and I give Mr. Prairie here too, he's gonna be there when he does the test, is you're gonna have to just pull tape.
yeah, and it's, you know, your area is very small, because you have wetlands everywhere.
Not looking for a subdivision out of this one. Good subdivision.
It started off to be a very easy project, and it's become quite complicated and aggravating. It's that.
so it's 60.
And who started that problem?
Well, actually, it would have been no problem if we insisted on the notice of intent right from the get-go. Then you would have gone through the whole process. It would have taken a little longer.
We wanna get into this again?
No.
We wanna get into this again?
Well,
If you require notice of intent, or even an ANRAD, for a temporary crossing for perk tests.
It's not my
You're gonna
requirement.
have
Wait a
people
minute.
sneaking
It's
and
not the
breaking the
conservation's
rules just to
requirement.
get it done.
Don't put the onus on us. The Board of Health has regulation, asks us to go out and inspect these sites.
And
They have a whole list of requirements. They
I
are
know.
talking ANRADs.
that's the way,
So,
when you.
so
agree-
essentially what you have is this area right here that
Yeah,
inside here.
and it's not a small area, but it's an area, it's a workable area.
Okay, so don't get your water hot.
Well, it's that whenever you create a regulation that is really strict, it's gonna create an incentive for people to break the rules. And especially with something like a perk test, to go in and out, people are gonna be able to sneak and cheat. They're gonna take their
No.
chances.
Well, not if they can't get a prick test, if it won't be a legal test.
Well,
Well, you know what people are gonna do? They're gonna do probably like someone else already did, when they went in there, is just sneak it in and do it one on their
you
own.
keep talking about someone else. I'm pretty sure that someone else is the guy you're working for. I
Don't know that. Don't know that.
Well, okay. But
Somebody went
I have
in
a pretty
there.
good idea that that's the guy that ran through this thing. Because one of his neighbors, went in and talked to him while he was in there. So, I mean, that's all hearsay. I got it over
I
the
don't know
phone.
anything about that, Charlie,
But,
but it's gonna cause an incentive for people to sneak in and sneak out.
well, he's already snuck in and out once. Now he's gonna do it the right way.
Charlie, you're talking about another neighbor down the road, Bob,
I'm talking about this parcel.
not that parcel. I was buying the property next to Bob down the road and I backed out of that property. I needed permission to go take pictures of the stream behind his house and he wouldn't give me permission to cross his property. So that, I know the issue because he told me he called you about it. But on this property, that property's been under agreement so many times this past year. I came in at the tail end when the owner was down in Florida. I noticed that signs up, signs down, signs up, signs down. So I got a hold of his friend in Dayton and I said, hey, do you know what's going on with this property? Because he's been trying to sell it, you know, people backing in and out of it. Somebody was in there cutting wood, the whole bit. So he called him in Florida. He offered me a price I couldn't refuse. I said, you know what, I'll buy it, take a chance on it. And that's it. That, as far as going out on that property, that had nothing to do with me at all. I called Brendan, he's done other stuff for me in the past. So I kinda don't like that
I'm the one that
accusation.
told him he has to file an RDA and don't do anything until he files an RDA, because it's not buffer zone work, it's actual BVW alteration in order to do the perk, and that's not exempt. So I'm the one who told him to come in. So, you know, don't punish a guy for trying to do the right thing.
Well, I'm glad he's doing the right thing.
I am.
But when I talked to the neighbor that's located down here, he gave me the impression that he talked to him up here. So,
Well, you know the old saying, believe nothing that you hear and half of what you
yeah, I
see?
mean, it was second party, but
Right.
I didn't see you driving it out. I'm just saying what the gentleman that I talked to said, that you drove in and out.
Well,
That's it.
I don't.
Now, you're saying you
Okay.
don't, I'll take it at face value.
Okay.
I took his at face
I
value too.
appreciate that.
But we'll get back to business now.
Okay.
Good idea.
What do you think?
You've had a chance to look at this, not much of a chance.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, basically, we looked at the plan and the changes that they talked about were made. So as far as the boundary goes, you know, and the tweaks that needed to be made from the last, you know, we're good with that. And they provided, Brandon provided the description of how they were gonna enter the property, swamp mats, you know, in the more wet areas, you know, to place them, remove them the same day. You know.
Is that in writing, all that?
It's in
It is,
writing.
in the package that I submitted along with the RDA, it had a narrative and a follow-up that Marty asked for.
Mm.
And I gave proposed conditions that you could put in the RDA as a -3 to help this along as an RDA as opposed to an NOI. And you can use them and,
Well, we've used them,
Yeah.
conditions in RDAs in the past.
Yeah.
So now this here is the path. Okay, how wide is this path?
oh geez.
That's what
Well,
would
twice
be
as-
used?
Quite enough for the piece of equipment to get in and out.
Maybe 10 feet wide.
And at the last hearing, we talked about, I don't know what, yeah, you were here, but we talked about, this is the worst part, right at the stream bed.
But there is an old rock crossing there. And it's also the only place on the entire length of the stream where the stream actually narrows and has defined banks. All up in here, it's all braided and wide, then it widens and bradens down here, but right in here, for some reason, it narrows and you have defined banks, and it's the best place to cross, and it's also where the old farmer's path was, then I'm sure there was a reason for
What,
it.
you said a stone, what is the beds? Is
Yeah,
the
this-
stream
the
bed
stone-
stone?
The stone that goes across the stream.
Okay. Like tire tracks or
No,
wagon tracks?
it's
or-
really just a single line of stones, maybe any other stone there got washed out over the years, but there's something, an old remnant. That's really the best place to do it.
Now, would you propose mats for that?
Yes, sir. Go in, place the mats, crawl forward, turn around, get the mess in behind you, pick it up, keep
Yeah, I
on
know I
moving
saw a lot
forward.
of them.
And I think Marty and I were agreeing that only really in the really wet areas. We had the rain, yes, but it's been pretty dry, so I'm not overly
Right,
concerned
well,
unless we have a
time
day.
forward.
I think one thing to be careful about is swinging the arm around with the, staying within that path and not,
I agree.
so I don't know,
Well, they hang pretty straight when you
Yep.
swing them around, but
okay.
you've got a machine and it's
Yeah,
wider.
yeah, that's gonna
We'll find
happen,
a
there'll
way.
be some, there'll be
I
some,
mean, you find your way
broken-
in one way or another.
something,
Yeah.
so.
Last one we did, Charlie, we said 146,000 of them, so.
Okay, we got the questions now.
Well, if you're satisfied that this line is accurate now,
Yep, and we recommended that, for the purposes of this, to accept the line for this filing only, but I don't see when and if the NOI comes in, that there'll be any changes to the boundary. So, as long as the plan's stamped by PLS, which it is, so they own the line now, and so.
Now, the vernal pool, that is, oh, I see it, okay.
that's inside the wetland.
Yes, okay, that's right here, okay.
It gets as close as 50 feet to the EVW road.
Okay.
So it's embedded in there about 50 feet. And some, weaves in and out. And
Okay.
I'm not, we'll see how it is in the springtime. But it's really just a braided stream in that part right there. So we'll see what happens. Maybe, some backwater areas, we'll see. I've seen wood frogs in backwater areas of streams before, but it flows pretty good probably in the springtime. We don't know now because it's bone dry.
Yeah, actually, on Lincoln Avenue, today was the first day that I've seen water flow over the dam in 2 months. And that's probably a lot of street runoff, which is fast.
Yeah, flashing.
Okay, so this RDA is to accept the wetland,
No,
No.
It's for him to
That's-
go in.
that's what we need.
That's part of it.
Yeah, they asked for confirmation of the boundary.
okay, so, that's,
Yep.
so confirmation of the boundary and to cross the wetland where the cart path is.
Correct.
Those are the two things that are really up on this RDA.
Yes.
Okay, yours?
Well, so the commission has to decide whether or not the activities that are being proposed, which is crossing, crossing that wetland to gain access to the area for perks, is subject to will have an adverse impact on a resource area. So, and if you feel that it does, then you should have them file a notice of intent. If you feel that they have enough protective measures in place so that there's no real permanent impacts, then
Okay,
You
so this here is just to go in to do a perk test. It is not to generate a driveway
No, just to do it.
for future construction.
Yeah, just wanna know, see if it's even buildable. They wanna be in and out in one day.
Okay, 10 feet wide.
Swamp mats. Done as soon as possible. There's already an application in with Board of Health to do perks. They're holding it up until a determination is made. So, Mr. Prairie wants to do these perks as soon as possible. We don't wanna wait until spring and this place is flooded.
And the water table is still way down. The rain today won't bring it up.
No, that sunk in so fast that it's,
It's an ideal time to do what he needs to do in here.
okay,
But you're asking for us to do a backdoor ANRAD, is that it?
Yes.
Do we have to?
well, you can not confirm the line on the form.
I mean, all the Board of Health is interested in is that this line is accurate.
Well, in
And
the
that's all we're
field,
doing
in the
this
field,
for.
we feel it's accurate,
We're
yes.
doing this just for the Board of Health,
Mhm.
that's it.
Right, but if you agree that the wetland line is where it's supposed to be, then that's part of the determination as
Well,
well.
we can determine that it's accurate enough to do a perk test, but
You can do that.
That was my impression also.
and
Yeah, well, at the same time, part of Marty's comments last time says if you want the wetland boundary confirmed, it has to be stamped. The last plan wasn't stamped. You have to, and it is now, by a professional land surveyor.
is that,
We had to give reference of where the existing conditions plan came from, how the wetland boundary was located and what the accuracy was. So we got all that information, looking forward to an actual verification of the boundary.
right, well, if we do verify the boundary, we don't have to verify the vernal pool boundary. It's not marked here.
yeah,
The vernal
this,
pool is in it, not
Right
our,
here.
not our vernal pool.
no, the vernal pool is here, but that would be written on the statement saying that, the vernal pool, setbacks would be according to, town bylaw.
Yeah,
And also, I'm gonna want an opportunity to go out there in the springtime and see if it is an actual vernal pool.
But that's another day.
I just wanna make sure that
Another day and another
but
project.
I guess if you confirm the boundaries on this plan, it's good for 3 years, so you can't have it both ways.
Right, so
So,
I
do
well,
you
you're the
want it?
one that required the PVP. You wanted to see that done, so we're showing it, but we wanna have the opportunity to potentially overcome the presumption come spring.
But I guess understood, but you want the line to be set
Well, I want the
for a
B-
future NOI process. You want the line set for 3 years legally,
Yeah,
okay?
the BVW.
But, but you don't want the vernal pool boundaries.
No.
Okay, so-
But
Well, vernal-
it has to be because,
It would-
right,
Jim.
It's
because
on the
you,
plan now, so it's,
Jim,
no, wait a minute, I can talk.
yeah, you can,
If
you
you've
sure
got-
can.
Yeah, then let me talk.
Go
So,
ahead,
so
Jim.
if you've got the vernal pool here, and we know it's going to, the boundary is gonna come out to here, or the 200 foot,
the buffer, yeah.
Yeah, the 200 foot
including the buffer.
Right.
So what we're saying here is so if we approve this for the perk test,
Mhm.
then that's gonna be set for an indefinite amount of time. if we don't include that in our work, then what's stopping you from coming 100 foot from this line? And then you'd be within the boundaries of the
tell
the
you.
vernal pool.
I'll tell you. Come this spring, you have spotted salamander and wood frogs breeding in there, no fish, and it stays wet for 2 months. Then you have irrefutable evidence that it's a vernal pool, and no septic system can be within 200 feet of that.
Well, we're saying that now. If you got it marked here as a potential vernal pool, that's what you're already saying.
Right, well, Marty asked for it, and we're providing it. Remember, a vernal pool under the state law isn't a resource area. It's a special habitat feature under the wildlife provisions. So this vernal pool would be under, it's this commission's discretion entirely as a wetland resource area. So what I would be asking for is verification of the BVW line, not so much the vernal pool, because I would like an opportunity to take a look at it in the spring to see if it actually is a vernal pool, because it's part of a stream, and it's a braided stream up in there. It may end up being a vernal pool, but I'd like to have the opportunity, at least for my client, to give it a chance to see if it's not.
That's fair.
Thank you. You know, conservation commissions very often make you wait until the springtime to see if it is a vernal pool. I'd like the opportunity to wait till to have the commission allow me to wait till the springtime to see if it's not.
But what we're gonna do is since you wanna go in here and dig in here, we're going under the assumption that it could be.
And that's fine.
And therefore, we don't want you digging within that buffer zone yet.
And that's fine, that's fine. If, the only time we would dig within the 200-foot zone is if after the springtime comes and I can prove, and come in with another RDA for official verification that it's not a vernal pool. That's the only time we'd be digging within 200 feet of that.
You use an RDA for that?
Under the bylaw, do I?
But now you will already have had your prick test, so your prick test will be out here somewhere, so you're not gonna need that. Maybe,
Maybe,
if it passes.
right.
It's just the decision's getting a little complicated.
Speak, Sullivan.
I think it shouldn't get complicated.
I mean, they asked for the boundary confirmation. They don't show all the resource areas on the site. There's braided streams and, you know, there's another stream coming in here, like,
Yeah, but that's banked
so, but
within the BBW.
but what we're saying is the flags on this plan, we feel are accurate.
The wetland flags.
And the boundary of the depression, the vernal pool depression is accurate, but he's asking the commission only to confirm the BBW boundary, so that would have to be in your decision.
You could make,
Did you not?
let me offer up another condition. That, something along the lines of that you presume that the vernal pool is there, and therefore no perks within 200 feet. Unless and until the client can give irrefutable evidence that it is not, to the commission's satisfaction.
You're trying to make this difficult.
RDAs are not supposed to be difficult with lots of conditions, and so but this one.
Right, and at the same, but this goes back to my argument with Charlie, is that I don't think there should, a temporary work like this, one day in, one day out, should be so onerous that someone trying to do the right thing by filing an RDA, you make them do an NOI or an ANRAD, they're gonna try and sneak stuff.
You keep talking about the right thing like it's right and wrong. You have to file something. You can't cross the wetlands and do perk tests. The Board of Health requires you to have a valid wetland approved line, so you can work 100 feet away from that. We
At the
require
commission's
you stay
discretion.
away, when the house is being built, that's a whole different story.
No doubt,
Okay.
no doubt.
But
You got enough room to
we
do
didn't
20
force
perk
this
tests
issue, it's
there.
here.
Let me confirm the BVW line, hold off on the PVP verification until the spring.
You're doing the perks now.
Right, and we're not gonna go within 200 feet of that line.
Well, how do I know this?
How do they know? How does the,
You can make it a condition.
Okay. I condition it from the
No perks within 200 feet of the PVP
shown on the plan.
shown on the plan.
That's all there is to that.
That leaves it
Well,
open for
actually-
me to be able to go back in the spring and see what's really up.
okay, Charlie, here's what it is. No perks within 100 feet of any of the wetland flag lines and no 200 feet from the PVP lines.
Agreed.
Okay.
Confirm the BBW, not the PVP, but nothing, no perks within 200 feet of the PVP.
Simple enough.
So you're gonna be writing this up?
You make a motion.
Okay, let's see, wait a minute.
Don't forget the public.
I make a motion that we approve the wetland flag lines and
Potential.
and deny any perk test within 100 feet of those wetland flag lines. Also denying perk tests within 200 feet of the PVP lines.
Yes, agreed.
And this plan is submitted to the Board of Health.
Of course. You can keep all those and give them to
Oh, good.
yourself.
Keep them all.
Second, is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, do we have to,
Questions on
do we
this
have to
project?
give them approval to go in?
A what?
We have to give approval to go through on the path? Or is that,
What are you talking
So
about, Jim?
So you'll motion to issue a negative determination with conditions. Would be a two, what is
It would be a -3.
it? Negative,
Yeah, the work will be done within resource areas, but resource areas will not be adversely impacted. I think that's the right
is
one.
it three?
I think it is.
We'll accept the
Two something.
conditions
be.
from our
It's a two,
consultant too.
some,
2A,
See?
2B, something like that. You'll figure it out.
yeah.
are we
It's
done with?
basically a negative determination to allow the activities to occur within a wetland resource area that will not impact, will not adversely impact the wetland resource areas, as long as the conditions set forth and provided by the applicant are adhered to.
I'll make that motion.
One more thing.
I'll second.
One more thing is under the Wetlands Protection Act, state level, not by law, overcome the presumption that the stream is perennial because of the 4 days of pictures that I took.
I'm not willing to do
It'll
that.
be perennial for us.
That's fine, it'll be the proposal is perennial under the bylaw, but I've done my due diligence to downgrade it under 310 CMR 10.
You did it during a drought. I'm not willing to accept it.
When was the drought? Well,
The drought's been going on since the beginning of the summer. We,
It has to
it's,
be, it has to be
Yeah.
declared officially by DEP.
it's,
I don't ever recall seeing an official.
No,
no, but you could make it contingent upon any after-the-fact drought declaration. So let's say in November, they say from September in October was a drought, then it becomes null and void.
which is, could be, I mean, it's
It
possible.
could be. Oh, it's happened to me.
Yeah, possible, yeah.
It happened before, I got,
They predate the,
on one
the
job, I
advisory.
got 3 in, and the 4th one didn't count, I had to wait another year.
mhm.
And they still made me file an NOI.
Well, we've made motions, we've seconded them.
We
So-
haven't seconded anything.
yes, that last one that Marty had said that I made the motion, and I think Jack seconded it. But that had nothing to do with the stream.
Well, that one's already done, right? So I'm asking for that last one to downgrade the stream under 310 CMR
I
10,
don't know
not
if they
the bylaw.
voted on that motion.
We
Yeah.
did not make a motion on that. You asked it.
Yes.
I'm not making a
I'm not making a motion.
Okay.
We made enough motions tonight. That's not gonna be one of them.
And I assume neither are you.
Pretty quiet.
Yeah? Well, are we finished? Do we close the hearing on what we did?
Basically, I got everything that I asked for except for the stream.
Was that in your RDA?
They did request
Yes, we
that
did
the
request it.
commission look at that stream and determine.
And
We,
Marty
we,
was
we,
not-
our bylaw will prevail, and
So-
that will be,
So you'd have to have two motions on that one. One would be under the Wetlands Protection Act. You'd move to, accept that the applicants overcome the presumption that it's a perennial stream, and you vote on it, and then you'd do another motion under your bylaw to determine whether the applicant has overcome the presumption. Well, actually, there is none, so it would be just under the Wetlands Protection Act.
I'm not with you on that again.
So the applicant asked the commission to look at that stream and determine, based on the information they provided, whether or not they've overcome the presumption that it was perennial. And under the Wetlands Protection Act, if you provide 4 days in one given year of pictures of that stream dry, and there's no upstream dams that would impact the flow, which we actually looked at, we couldn't find any restrictions, that would,
Right.
stop the flow. Then the regulations, allow the commission to determine it's intermittent. So,
So if we wish to reject that,
you could, and they would have to appeal it.
Now, he submitted this to DEP.
They-
Don't they make a determination?
DEP won't look at it.
No, because
They'll look at your decision.
Our bylaw already says it's a perennial stream, so why should we look at it?
You can vote not to accept the information and determine it's intermittent, and they would have to appeal it
right.
under the Wetlands Protection Act. And they probably won't, because your bylaw protects it as a perennial stream.
I don't know, it just very well may, if only to make that part of 310 CMR 10 go away, make life a little bit easier going forward with the state. But I'm wondering if we can do the work and appeal at the same time, because it's kind of a separate issue,
That's a good question.
yeah. Anyway, good.
Can I ask why you wouldn't approve that? Because it's not gonna affect anything on the town level, like
Yeah.
Brandon said, it's only gonna affect what he has to do at the state level.
And I met all of the criteria under the state level to downgrade it from perennial to intermittent.
My concern is, you're more than likely gonna get perks back there. I mean, it's nice upland, there's no reason why you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You still have to come back to the commission eventually and file notice of intent for how many lots, whatever you can squeeze in up there.
Yeah.
Why should we predetermine that it's not a stream? No. It doesn't make it easier for you in the future to plan an access and egress? Is
Little
that what
bit.
you're looking for?
A little bit, it won't make it easier with you four fellows, but it'll make it easier if there's ever any trouble with DEP. So, it's my job to make it as easy as possible for my client.
And it's our job to consider your, request and either approve or deny it.
But
Right now, I'm not,
It's not so
inclined
much a
to.
matter of opinion, though, it's stated clearly in the regulations, this 310 CMR 10, that,
But our bylaw is pretty clear itself.
well, that's the thing, Charlie, there's two separate sets of regulations, they're mutually exclusive. All right, so you don't have to worry about the bylaw being somehow hindered because you've downgraded under the state law. You don't have to worry, it's not gonna get muddied, the bylaw is not gonna get muddied at all because of,
I think it would.
Well, if for some reason a 40B is proposed back there, then there would be no riverfront, because the bylaw would not apply to that project, so.
at the same time, the riverfront area doesn't even, it's entirely within the BBW itself.
And they do have a challenge, because that is a zone A water, and, those are outstanding resource here. They're gonna have to get a variance from, under the water quality regulations to place fill in that wetland. So they have a big challenge to put a driveway through that wetland. So,
In the NOI process.
that's separate from the water quality
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, we're gonna be going over
It's gonna
a
be,
certain amount. Well, we gotta look at that, but there's a likely requirement, because under the water quality cert, if you're in outstanding areas, the threshold's not 5,000 feet, it's 1,000 feet, if I'm not mistaken. Requirement for a water quality cert, so we'll, most likely be having to file with DEP for a individual water quality cert, but we'll take that, we'll cross that hurdle when we get to it.
Or stream.
The stream, and the BVW
No,
itself.
you said cross the river, when we get there.
across the street.
I said stream.
It's a hurdle.
Intermittent stream.
Yes, it is an intermittent stream. Under the state law, perennial stream under the bylaw. I've done everything required under the state law to downgrade it. It's pretty clear cut. Take 4 days of pictures. In fact, I believe Marty's already said that she's viewed them and she's seen it in the field herself, and she agrees that I've done my due diligence and met the requirement under the state law anyway.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of, these drought conditions, until it's a declared drought, it's not a drought. So, it's unfortunate, but that's,
We have to make a motion to approve that?
they asked you to look at it and consider it, so you should make a motion. But you don't have to agree to their findings. But they submitted what they needed to do under the act, and we did look at upgrading what's coming in off the site as best we could through Google Earth, and we did try to look at some areas, to see if there was any backyard dams, but it's a very different, unique stream system. It's, coming down,
Well,
through
that-
there.
A lot of this
That
area
actually
is-
drains up from behind the high school and goes across, was it Maple or Oak?
So if you know of any dams or anything
No.
on this stream system, we couldn't find any. We looked.
It's a headwater area.
So I mean, that's a braided stream system through there. There's a lot of bank that's through that whole area.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where the bank fold would not be, with the exception of that one little area, the bank fold would be upgrading of the first break and slope, such kind of situation, just the saws, meandering and all that stuff.
Well, I just want you to say again, you want to change with the state
Yeah,
from to,
yes.
Yeah.
from what?
From perennial to intermittent under 310 CMR 10, but I am not asking for any relief under the bylaw to downgrade it. Only from the state law.
But whether we downgrade or not, we're gonna approve him going through there.
Right, but that was part of my
Or
request.
you're looking for elimination of the riverfront.
Act. Under the state law, under the
Right.
310 CMR 10, yes. Yeah. Not under the bylaw. I know, I learned the hard way years ago on that one.
It just seems to me that if we do it, if we give approval of that on the state law, that we, in a sense, have destroyed what we have done with our bylaw.
Well, here's an analogy. You have a 25-foot no touch and what, 50-foot no structure, right?
Yeah.
Say I came in with a building within 25 feet, all right? That would be, but we're not going into the well, we're stopping about 5 feet from the well. That's the kind of project that could be approved under 310 CMR 10, but would be disapproved under the bylaw, all right? They're mutually exclusive. You could approve, you would have to approve under the state law, but deny under the bylaw. So they're mutually exclusive regulations. And that's similar to what I'm asking here. I'm asking to make one decision under the state law and another decision under the bylaw.
I don't think we can. I think that if we make a decision, it would have to be for both, and I'm not willing to give up the bylaw.
I'm not asking you to give up the bylaw.
But if we give it up under the state, it means we're giving it up.
Has
No,
DEP,
it's not. No, it doesn't.
I think it does.
has
No.
DEP approved your
Request.
They don't approve it until you approve it. It's all home rule. The commission's in charge of doing the permitting. We don't go to them directly for permitting. It comes through the Conservation Commission, and then if we feel we're aggrieved, we appeal to DEP. But the appeal would only handle those parts of the approval process that are applicable to 310 CMR 10, not the bylaw. We'd have to go to Superior Court for any grievance with a decision under the bylaw.
I can give you one thing, man, you're a hard bargainer.
So I pay me the big bucks, Charlie.
I know.
It's always fun.
I'm thinking, I'm trying to word something.
Here's my recommendation. You make a motion under MGL Chapter 131, Section 40. You write it down, Charlie. The motion under MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and 310 CMR 10 to overcome the presumption of the perennial stream only. And you can make a motion if you want to, just to put it on the record, that you do not approve overcoming the presumption of perenniality under the bylaw.
Was that part of his original request?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep,
I don't miss anything.
yes, it was.
very thorough.
And come November 15th, when they finally come out with this stuff, this could all be moot, but I gotta do my job.
November 15th?
Yeah, this drought committee convenes like first, second week of the month, and they make a decision, and then the decision usually comes out the middle of the month and affects the months before it. But there's a little bit of lag time.
So
Then
then
maybe
your
we should-
decision,
Then maybe we should continue this until,
We don't wanna do that, because we wanna get the perks done.
Wow.
Don't
I
hang
mean, you
it
can make
over
a
our
decision
head.
contingent on the assumption that the drought committee won't declare.
Well, you could
Because
make, I got a suggestion. with the condition that any drought declaration renders the motion and approval null and void.
Or we could just refuse to do it and let you take it to Superior Court.
It's an option.
Yeah.
Prior to
No,
the
not,
date.
we wouldn't have to, we wouldn't be arguing the bylaw. We wouldn't even do Superior Court, we'd just do DEP under the state law, because we don't contest the bylaw. And I think that it would merely be a waste of time and money, because I think that is gonna be approved. As in the downgrade's gonna be approved. It's not going to affect your ability to regulate it and the riverfront area under the bylaw in the future. When an NOI comes in,
What is the,
Not gonna
what is the
change it.
future for this property?
the future of this property, most likely, is 2 lots up in the upland area.
So that means you're gonna want two driveways through there.
Not necessarily, I'm foreshadowing something similar to what we did with Kenny Arujo on Wellington. Where you have one crossing with 2 driveways, or something similar like that.
I don't think that's even permitted.
Yeah, we did.
Well, the zoning's changed to allow retreat lots now, whereas when we did Kenny's, it was not. And, and the big thing was, sorry Charlie, but back then you had to have access through your own frontage.
Yes.
That's no longer the case, you can have a shared driveway now.
That's right.
And it made
In Dayton.
sense, in Dayton, and it made sense because then you have, in the last case, you had 2 long crossings with double the amount of impact, when you really could have just had 1 crossing with a shared driveway. And what they did to mitigate that was put the driveway right down, well, at the property line, you had a grass strip.
Yep.
And they had the property line down the middle of the grass strip, and then you had a driveway here and a driveway here, then you had a 40-foot wide crossing. Here, you could do a shared driveway with a crossing half the width.
And they actually increased the median once, I believe, the ZBA.
Okay. Because they didn't think it was wide enough?
No, during the process.
Okay. I lost my memory on that one.
Because you wanted one of these and they wanted a little bit wider.
I think I can remember that, yeah.
There's a lot of motions going here.
Or proposed motions.
There's a lot of movement going on.
Let's sit down and get
Do you, so was there a vote on the negative determination to
Well, if he asked for it, I mean, we have to do something.
the actual allowing the activity to occur without filing a notice of intent? Was there a vote on that? There was a motion. I made the motion.
No,
You seconded it.
No, I took your motion and
Yeah.
I made it.
Yes,
You-
and
yes.
then I believe there was approval on that.
Did you,
Wasn't there?
was there a vote on it? Yeah, okay.
I think there was.
Okay. So we got by that, so that's done.
I got so into the street, I forgot.
Boy, we're looking good on TV tonight.
And I just had,
Oh, God.
I just had Ron Marino, clean my boiler today too.
What's he looking for?
Oh, we remember him.
Nothing. I said, yeah, Ron, I'm coming to the commission tonight to do battle once again. He said, God bless you.
That was a long aggravating process.
This one's getting there too.
Let's stick with,
That
This,
even
with
started.
Brandon here.
Well, we moved. We allowed this,
Yep.
okay? We allowed that.
And I believe you made a motion about the BUW boundary,
Yes, and
excluding,
the PVP.
Yeah.
200
But,
feet.
but with the condition that we
Yes.
can't do perks within 200 feet,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
So we
and
got,
then there's,
we got the crossing and we got the
Yeah.
wetland
Now we've got a
Boundary.
little stream going through.
Now we
So
do
the
this.
third motion would be
Yeah.
about that stream being downgraded,
Yeah.
under the state.
Under the state regulation. So the motion would be preferably
So
to
basically
downgrade
what
it
you're
on
trying
the
to do is
state.
codify your decision, that it's not, you're proving that it's not a wetland, the perennial stream. That's
Yeah.
what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm trying to get as many ducks in a row now to be prepared for the future.
Any downside for us?
I mean, that's why an RDA is not good for boundary. It's
No.
just, there's no place in the form
Well, if worse
to
comes to
address
worse,
all
we
this
can
stuff.
always deny the application
So,
and go
but-
right back to the old thing.
I mean, the RDA confirming boundaries is really for single lots, one house, small line, not with all these, if that, you know, if this it's there's just no place to put it on the form, so it has to be written down somewhere and,
Well, we can add a sheet.
but the commission accepted their application, so they were asking for the commission to consider their proof that, it didn't flow 4 days out of the year, they provided it, the commission can accept it.
So I'm still at the idea that because these are state maps, if he wants, to be downgraded, then the state should do it, not us.
So then you make a motion, someone can make a motion to downgrade it, for their application.
To
and
deny the
then-
request for
or that could-
downgrading.
That could be your motion too.
I make a motion that we,
Charlie, just on the downgrading of the stream issue, I wanna hear what you're saying. Charlie?
What?
Just the downgrading of the stream. I want your opinion.
You want my opinion? You made a motion?
I started to when he cut me
I
off,
cut him off.
and I don't think that's proper. I started making a motion, and, just after the motion is made, you can have,
Well,
you
after
can
listening to
request.
Marty's, advice, we might as well, get it over, as long as it does, it won't affect our bylaw. I'm just wondering what it will affect in the future with notice of intent to cross back and forth.
He's still
It
going
has to
through
be a-
wetlands, he's still, the whole process between the road and the upland is still all wetlands. He's still gonna have to compile, he still comply,
Well, I agree,
okay.
and I agree with the line, I agree with what we've done with the, railroad pool, and if he makes a motion, I'll more than likely second it.
Have at it.
I move that we retain the identity of a perennial stream on this site.
That we what?
Retain the perennial stream, the notion of a perennial stream on the site.
Well, I don't know if we can do that, let's either approve it or disapprove it.
I think that's what he meant, means you
It would
move,
pass. That
Move
would-
Maybe,
to-
maybe it would be deny the request.
I'll second that.
That might be a more
Okay,
appropriate
okay, I
motion.
move that we deny the request to downgrade the perennial stream.
Second it, second it, second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there any, opposed, anybody opposed? Okay.
Okay. That was the least of the worries, but we'll deal with it. And I believe that's it.
Takes care of you, Brandon.
Can I have one of those plans back so I can send it to DEP?
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, not this top one, I wrote on this.
I'll take the one underneath and just still a couple more. Okay, thank you, gentlemen, always a pleasure. Thank you,
I'm
Mark.
sure it was.
And they say that doing big subdivisions is hard. The
You
small-
made it
I
hard.
ha- I have,
You made it
I
hard.
did not.
Yes, you did.
Have a good night. See you next time.
Sorry to keep you late, Mark.
That's all right.
You're
Well,
gonna
seriously?
be okay going home this late?
I'll tell
You
you
know, I
what.
left early,
Here's what's,
figuring
here's
that
what come up.
with the rain and all, I made it here in record time.
Oh, did
I
you?
don't-
Then
I'm like,
the
okay,
state, they're
why
gonna
is that?
overrule our bylaw.
I'm good.
If it's downgrade, oh, yes, if they put
They,
it.
the state can't overrule.
Drive
it.
blind.
No, if it goes with a 40B, down the line.
Thank
Good
you.
night, Marty, be safe, please.
Instead of,
I will.
if it goes 40B.
Go 40B, there's only
I'll
two
be down to
lots in
see
there.
Puppy soon.
40B, two lots.
We're looking for
You
you.
don't know.
New hearings. Sandra Dussel.
Wow, boy, you have weathered a long one here tonight.
And I must say, that your son looks just like his father.
He does.
I hear that a lot.
Is this good here, or would you rather have it on the table?
No, that's fine, there's nobody here to
Okay.
argue.
And I have the receipt from the
And-
advertisement,
Okay,
whoever gets that.
And
Charlie.
I'm a direct abutter of the property, so I'm gonna recuse myself. I'm gonna
Okay.
sit here, unless you want me to sit over there.
No, that's
Okay.
fine. That's fine.
So,
I'm Karen
thank you,
Pat,
Karen.
Karen Patnode from Earth Services, representing the owners, Sandra Dussel. So this proposal is to replace the septic system at 955 Center Street. There's an existing three-family home here, 2 bedrooms in the main house, and there's an in-law apartment over here. And there's 2 cesspools in the rear that are failed, so we're proposing to tie both connections from both parts of the house into a tank right here and put the leaching field over here as far from the river as possible. So
And how far is that?
it's 120 feet to the leaching field from the river. As you can see, it borders, the lot borders directly on the Segregansett River. So we have riverfront area to deal with here, although I believe that the septic system repairs are exempt and grandfathered from the Riverfront Act, as long as the house was in existence before 1996, and it was, so. But with that, I still did an alternative analysis on the lot, and this is basically the only alternative that's reasonable. It's as far as it can possibly go from the river, so there's no other alternative other than making it closer to the river.
now, the green line is the river, or is
That's
it?
the wetland line, which
The wetland,
also, I
okay.
mean, that's the top of bank, which is the same as the wetland boundary
Okay.
down to this point, and then the wetland top of bank goes this way, but the
Okay.
wetland continues around here. So the green is the wetland.
Okay,
So you have the 100-foot buffer from the green over here. This is top of bank, so you have the 100-foot wetland and riverfront buffer here, and then the 200-foot boundary here is right off the lot. So the whole lot's in the riverfront area, actually the whole lot everywhere is in the riverfront area.
okay.
So,
So the cesspools will be filled and,
Yes.
that, and then the new piping will come out and head over to, what is it, you have a 1,500 gallon tank or
Yeah,
something like
1,500
that?
gallon tank, gonna, intercept both of the lines coming out of the foundations.
Oh, okay, all right, so you got 2 interceptors.
Yeah, there's an in-law apartment over
Yeah.
there, which also has a bathroom and a kitchen. So we're piping it into the tank on this end, and then the existing line that
Okay.
comes from the cesspool.
Okay,
from the
and
main
and
house.
what I see is the rectangle, that's your
This is
leaching
the
field.
septic tank, and this is the leaching field.
Okay. Okay,
and so there's also, we did some research that it's not in a zone 1 or a zone 2 of a wellhead protection area, but this is zone A of a surface water protection area, because of course the Segregansett is a tributary to a surface water supply. So normally under Title V, septic systems need to be 200 feet outside of the river, from the river.
Yeah,
But this is a repair, so we can get a variance down to 100 feet from the Board of Health if we ask for it. So we're 120 feet, so we're assuming they're gonna give us that variance. We haven't been to the Board of Health yet.
so your design has to be approved by them,
Yep,
Yes.
but we want to come to you first,
okay?
in case you wanted any changes or whatever, we'll have it finalized before we
Well,
go to them.
as far as, there's no other place to put it.
No.
And you're not gonna burn your house down, so.
Any questions for these people, Jack?
No, I put the original system in, Bill.
Oh,
Did you? I helped them lug all the lumber off Cape Cod to build that house too, that's an old
Huh?
army barracks.
mhm.
Really?
I live in the old homestead, diagonally across,
Okay.
Oh.
Okay,
Johnny's folks.
Mhm.
are we ready for a motion? I'll make one.
Yeah.
Okay, I move that we approve the new sewer disposal system to replace the failed system as designed.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
We should've got to you guys first.
Thank
Look
you.
at you, you're paying here for all this extra time.
All right, well, thank
You
you.
know?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Good night,
Okay,
thank you.
have a good night.
Charlie, where's the invoices for Nova Armstrong?
Coming.
Um, 3 of them, huh?
Yep.
Do these have to be voted on, all of these?
Yeah, we gotta vote on this.
Okay.
You want me to read them off? Or you got them right there?
We got 'em right
in front of
here.
us.
Okay,
A, B, and C.
okay,
Do the three together.
okay, I move that we pay the 3 invoices, number 6821, number 6809, and 6811, submitted to us by Nova Armstrong for work done at various sites, namely Main Street, Somerset Avenue, and Horton Street.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next.
You got an enforcement order here, Charlie, to be signed?
Yep.
Matthew B.
Oh,
Antonio.
only need to get one of those signed, not the whole 3. I put it
Okay.
there so you could read the enforcement order,
Okay,
and I didn't bring a spare, so somebody's gonna sacrifice one.
okay, let's make a motion. I'll move that we ratify the enforcement order issued to Palmer River Development
I'll
for
second that.
placing fill within the boundaries of Conservation Restriction Area B in Lot 8, Morris Lane.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, here we go. Number 3, Bill.
We have a request for a certificate of compliance
Oh, you said you got a partial,
for
yeah.
210
Money
Money
Cove.
Cove Lane, I believe. I can't find it.
What
yet,
was
but-
done at 210 Muddy Cove Lane? What was done at 210 Muddy Cove Lane?
210 Muddy Cove Lane, we approved in 2008 an application to install a septic system to replace a cesspool for Joe Gulart. Is it Joe? Yeah, Joe Gulart. And it was supposed to extend a porch around the house, that was never done. Part of the order of conditions required monuments to be placed in the ground at, I don't know, 7 locations to delineate the riverbanks. There's not much of a backyard. And up until 2 days ago, the monuments weren't there. The homeowner, current homeowner had to put them in because Mr. DeRosa, familiar name, he was the applicant originally, and he got the order of conditions and he never put them in. But they're there now, and they've asked for,
They're there now?
yeah, they're now, I checked them yesterday. They were put in the day before.
Okay, so you're not requesting a partial certificate, you're requesting a
It's,
whole
no,
certificate?
no, it's gonna be a complete certificate, yep,
Okay, because we have partial here.
with conditions. There were some, perpetual conditions,
Okay.
and I'm having a hard time finding it. I know I brought it with me. Well, I think I know where it is. I buried it under this. Yep. No,
You want this? No.
I think so.
Okay. So they are complete now. It took them long enough to request it.
Well, they're closing tomorrow. One of those things.
And all their work has been done.
Yeah, it's all.
Okay, you gonna make a
Assessed.
motion then?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we sign the certificate of compliance for 210 Muddy Cove Lane.
I'll second it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I didn't put this on the, I thought it was the last minute, I already had prepared the agenda. I made 3 sign sheets for orders and conditions, 2 for Maris Lane and 1 for the thing we heard just now.
Well,
I've got to prepare conditions and I won't have to chase people around to get signatures. We approved Maris Lane last week, and yeah, there's 3 of them.
Charlie? Don't,
That's to do the compliance.
I'll try to get this together for you.
Yeah, you got it right.
Like that?
Yep.
Put your pen over there,
Okay,
Wait, the ongoing conditions are here.
okay, here's the 3 here.
And give this
I all
to
set?
Bill to sign.
Bill, you have to sign this here for, Marty. Okay,
All 4 pages, Bill.
Okay.
I've got a few things here that I wanna just go over. We issued an enforcement order on the DeRosa property off of 138 some time ago because, and then I brought it up and Bob's not, I was not hired by him. Charlie said that, he's hiring